started.
Okay, Israel, Most High Christ bless everybody.
Most High Christ bless you too.
All right, so all praises to the Most High, Israel, for giving us the spirit to come here and fellowship, keep the commandments, and learn what His will is according to the scriptures. I'm gonna go over two topics today, more as will. The first one is alms. So write that down so you can so we can understand what that is according to scriptures and how to deal with that. And the second one is prophecies of the end time. Prophecy of the end times.
No, when you start, it's time to pull it up.
I've already started. I'll do that. Just take my word. Just put a moon in front of the camera.
No. The camera can see it.
All right.
Shit, I don't have to show one here. Charging cord since you closest to me. I'm just gonna be right on the edge of the table.
So let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 27. So Leviticus chapter 27, and let's take that one. Yeah, just take one. Don't untake the whole thing loose, bro. Just pull one wire out.
I'm gonna make sure.
I just started verse 28. All right. So Leviticus chapter 27. So we're going to deal with alms. So it says Leviticus 27 and is it 28? Notwithstanding no devoted things that a man shall devote unto the Lord of all that he have, both of man and beast, and of the field of his possession, shall be sold or redeemed. You have to turn it down some. You can't like that. Every devoted thing is most holy unto the Lord. Now, What is this saying? If a person say that they're going to give something, you actually supposed to give it. You're not supposed to give it and take it back. If it's in your spirit, to give, it's in your will to give, and you do it. Let's just say, I would get it into our spirit. Say, for instance, you're gonna make your mind up. You say, I'm gonna give this. Based upon maybe certain things that you have coming in. You know, we don't have the fields, and some Israelites out there do, but you don't have the fields and the flocking and stuff like that. And we're gonna separate what tithe is and what alms and free wills and stuff like that. We're gonna separate all of that. And I'm actually going here and starting here to show us what is not, and the confusion that people get in and mix it in together. But I'm going to show you an example of what you cannot do. Go to the book of Acts concerning the devoted thing, so we don't make that fatal mistake, because a lot of people, we do things and we do it, we're unlearned. And that's why the Most High is trying to teach us. Acts the 5th chapter. So he's going to teach us. This is an example of a devoted thing. So you have to be watchful and mindful of what you say you're going to do. It says, but a certain man named Ananias with Sapphira, his wife, it's Acts chapter 5 and verse 1. With his wife, sold a possession. So now, sisters, I want y'all to pay attention, because you can slide downhill right into the grave with your husband and his wickedness. If you got a wicked man and you agree and you consent with him and you conspire with him, the Most High gonna kill you too. He'll judge you too. That's why those of you that are single, better hold on to that thing as long as you can, to make sure that you don't end up with a demon. Because y'all gonna get evaluated together. So a lot of people know this story, a lot of you don't. And we're gonna see, did the Most High change his mind? He ain't changed his mind today. You just under grace and doing things and you don't even know what you're doing. You still counting your life as yours. Your life don't even belong to you no more. You agreed that the Most High could have you and take over you, can possess you and walk in you and talk in you and do his work in you in exchange for the resurrection. That's a heck of a trade right there. So it says they kept back part of the price. What do you mean they kept back part of the price? In other words, they lied. I have truth. Let's deal with that. Write that down. Some of you tell a half truth. A half truth is still a lie. The sad part about it is you go into feeling like it's yours. I could do what I want to do. You get into the intent of what you're going to do and you start putting it into your mind. Remember, through the Spirit, the class was teaching us about our thoughts. You got to get your thoughts together. All right. So now it says, his wife also being privy to it. So his wife know that he was keeping back part of the price. Remember, they sold the possession. What do people care about you selling your property? Nothing. Unless you said you're gonna devote it, you're gonna give it, you're gonna make a promise. So giving it here is talking about they were gonna give. There, it's talking about they're gonna devote it. It's the same thing. Don't let the words, because they switch, fool and deceive you. His wife knew what was supposed to happen. Listen, and brought a certain part. See, they didn't bring the part that they said that they were going to devote. We just read in the law that the devoted thing cannot be redeemed. You can't keep it. You can't deal with it. That's a law. So they brought a certain part. So I'm gonna give that part, but for real, the whole thing was supposed to be devoted. And brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why have Satan filled thine heart to lie? So what did he do? He lied. What would he lie about? This is what I sold the property for. This is what I got from it. What do some people do? They'll lie and say, this is what I'm working with. You'll claim financial handicap, or I'm struggling, I don't have it. So I can't give this, I can't give that. The amount that mentally you targeted in your mind to devote or to give. Whether it's your arm or whether it's your feast day. So you will come with a lie and a part. Here are the scriptures. Now, but it says, why have Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Most High? Because that's who the Holy Ghost is. They saw Peter standing there, but they didn't know that Peter was full of the Holy Ghost, which is the Most High, our God, the God of Israel. So who did they bring that to? The Most High. The Most High, or he was there and oversaw the whole deal. He knew their heart. He saw their thought process. He saw when they went covetous, and he saw when they walked up to the man, seeing men and not the Spirit of the Lord. And to keep back part of the price of the land. Here's what confuses a lot of people. It's mine. That's what they say. Whilst it remained, was it not thy own? And after it was sold, was it not in thy own power? So here's the deal. Let's get some understanding on that, because that would confuse a lot of people. Like, for real, what's the problem? Raise your hand if you wonder, like, what's the problem? Be honest. It's okay. A lot of people don't understand what's the problem. There you go. Who else? Raise your hand. Some of you bashful. Okay, I'm gonna tell you anyway. But what if I call you? You gonna be able to tell me what's the problem? Nava?
They said they're gonna give a portion of it, but they have a different portion.
Okay, they said that answer was given. What does it mean by whilst it remained, was it not thy own? What is the problem? Not with that question, but so let me just give us, instead of, because you can't read the mind. The thing is, they had an opportunity to make a decision on what they was going to decide, that they was going to devote, or that they were going to say, or what they was going to give, or if they was going to keep a piece of it from the beginning. Because some people will be like, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, and donate it to the charity. Y'all heard that part in the world, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a certain something, and I'm giving it all to charity. But I know what I said before I got the diamonds. But now that I got the diamonds, you see, now you got to give Bay a big old ring. You got some big earrings. See, it's a different story now once you get it. That's what he mean by when it was yours, well, it remained, was it not your own? You could have kept it and not had an issue at all. And after it was sold, was it not in thy own power? So after it was sold, it was in your power to do what? Make the right choice. Because in your mind, you had already said what you're going to do. Why hast thou conceived this thing in thy heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. He dropped dead immediately. Immediately. That's why Israel, and what is this is about? This is about coin. They didn't have paper. They had coins, gold, made out of gold and silver and stuff like that. I don't think somebody dropping dead, well, it's not for me to think, but you wouldn't think that somebody should be killed over something like this. But the Lord is saying something different. Because they lied, they covered it after. Now, and fear came on all them that heard these things. So the ones that heard it, what do you think they would do? You think that they would say they're going to do something and don't do it? Do you think that they would lie to the apostles? Because lying to the apostles is lying to the Lord. Right. If you don't believe that, I ain't gonna tell you to try it. If you don't believe that, something is wrong with you. You can't lie to the disciples of the Most High because the Most High is in them. And you can tell because they're going to be doing the Most High's word. Now, and Ananias, hearing these words, fell down. We read that verse 6. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. Just like that. They didn't wait for no days for a funeral. They didn't go look for his parents. His wife don't even know. And about the space of 3 hours later, when his wife, not knowing, was done, you know, people don't answer the first knock, do they? She came in. She knocked again, and she came in. She about as happy because she got some of that money. Sisters always get a portion of that money. You get some money like that, brothers. Don't you give your wife some of that money? You give them something. Give them something to burn, right? You might not give them the bank, but you give them something they can go shopping and this, that, and the third. All right. So she got some of it. Peter answered unto her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. She said, yeah, for so much. And Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Now, she lied too. How many times have in modern day society, how many times you as a woman lied to your elder to cover for your husband? If you have, guess what? This is the same situation right here. Mm-hmm. We ask you about something and you tell the same bogus bootleg story because y'all conspired together. Y'all eye to eye on the same story. Y'all gonna tell the same tale. Guess what he said? Behold, the feet of them that have buried thy husband are at the door. She's like, what? What are you talking about? Buried? What's his name? Walter. We give him some modern name. Walt. And shall carry thee out. Then she fell down straightway at his feet and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead and carried her forth, buried her by her husband. So what was the purpose of all of that? And great fear came upon all the church and upon as many as heard these things. So what was the whole purpose of that? To put fear in the congregation. Hold this and go to the book of Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. And verse 5. Somebody start that.
This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city.
Oh, stop. I'm sorry. Let's go up to verse 4.
This is Ezekiel 9 and 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
So remember, we talked about being sealed and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
So the mark is that seal of the Most High. So now Jerusalem is talking about the nation of Israel that's scattered throughout the whole world. It's the Israelites. All right. So now, go ahead.
Verse 5. And to the others he
So
said,
they get a mark. So they, in other words, they get sealed. Okay, they get sealed. You get sealed with this knowledge. That's why you have to learn. You have to change. You have to be converted. We have to humble ourselves so that we can apply. This is the mark. Everybody think about this. This is the mark of the Most High, not the mark of the beast, but you're marked by the Most High. All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. And to the others he said, in mine hearing.
So now there are some more angels that the Most High is talking to. And he heard it. Ezekiel heard it. Remember, the Most High dealing with Ezekiel because he was a watchman. And the Most High at different times would show him in visions and take him, give him an out-of-body experience and grab him, snatch him right out of his body and take him and show him different certain things. And now he's seeing in the spirit world what the Most High is doing to Israel. And if he see that, then once he be in his body, he would return and then he was begin to prophesy and say, yo, don't do this and don't do that. Don't do this and don't do that. But it's, what if you don't believe? If you don't believe, then you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and then you're going to get penalized for not doing it because you were warned on what you should do and how you should do it and things like that. So he heard other angels. He had the Lord tell him to go after him through the city. Go ahead.
And smite, that not your eye spare, neither have ye pity.
Kill anybody that's doing the wrong thing. And that's why it's always havoc in every city. There's always something going on. People be like, man, God save the city. Oh, we can't get enough. Y'all do too much. Little girl killed. Little boy killed. 2 bodies found in a car. This and the third happening. Accidents. All kind of stuff. People burned out. All kind of stuff. These are the angels of the Most High going through the city and straight helping people meet their maker. This is true. You're reading about it. How do you avoid this? Change your spirit. Change your mind. Because you're going to get right out there on the street. You're going to be driving down the street. And if you're in the wrong spirit or you're in the wrong mindset, the Lord going to allow some angel to do what? Smite you, man. Smite you. If you roll it in the spirit of anger, you run stop signs, red lights, or whatever, bam, T-bone, get flipped. Or what if you get deceived and tricked? Go out there and get seduced and end up intoxicated, turn to drugs, turn to alcohol, you end up getting jacked up. Right? So these angels, they're not gonna feel sorry for you. This is such and such. We read that the other day. You can leave righteousness. That was Ezekiel 33. You can leave your righteousness. It ain't gonna be remembered. Oh, this is Ephraim. He actually is a good dude. Don't worry about Ephraim is in all type of wickedness at this point. He get mad. He turn to harlots. He's somewhere he ain't supposed to be. You're gonna get judged, man. Or this is sister. She get mad. She turn the horn. You're gonna get judged. But you might have been a good sister for the last few years, but now you're gonna get judged. So when it says, let not your eyes spare, you think they're gonna not listen to the Most High? Neither have what? Pity. What is pity? Feeling sorry. Most High said, don't feel sorry for them. Kill them. Read.
Slay utterly old and young.
Slay utterly old. Yeah, kill them. You see somebody old, they still set in their ways and set in their sins. The Most High gonna take them out. Old. Now you wondering, well, what happened to my granny? What happened to my granddaddy? What happened to my mama? The Most High got tired of it. Yeah. So he killed them. And young. A lot of people be wondering why they fall victim to this situation or to that situation. They was young. You was too young to die. Baby drowned in a pool. All kind of stuff, man. Fall off a merry-go-round. All kind of stuff. Mauled to death. Some years ago, children got mauled to death by some dogs. Bad dogs, man. Mauled to death, ate up. Young, some children. Young. He said, don't even pity them. Don't even feel sorry. Turn these spirits loose. People getting shot up. A while ago, whole families getting knocked in the houses. People coming through, killed the woman and her children because the guy's a drug dealer. He crossed the wrong person, man. They come to his house and kill the woman and the kids and don't spare them. It ain't no mercy. Not if you're gonna deal wrong against the Most High and you ain't gonna repent. Go ahead.
Both maids. Maids is a female. But she look good. Who's looking at her? You is in lust. That's what a maid is. Ain't talking about the one that worked for Minute Maid. She's got the uniform on and clean houses. No, it's talking about the daughters in Israel. The ones with the Maybelline, the eyelashes. How y'all stop y'all eye there long enough to put something on there, man? That would be like forever bugging me out. Right. It's talking about them maids. They be getting killed, man. Go ahead. And little children. Man. That's why we see funerals. Anybody ever been to the funeral of a child? Yeah. What about the funeral of a baby? Check this out. I went to the funeral of a baby, and the parents picked out pallbearers, right? The casket was so little, the master of the ceremony just picked it up themselves and walked away with it. I was like, oh my God. The casket is so tiny, man. It's the size of a cooler, a drink cooler. It's that small. And it ain't even wide as one, deep as one. It's about the size and a half of this laptop, man. That thing is small. I was like, oh, yeah, it is little. Couldn't even have pallbearers. Little children. Lord said, little children, man. Kill them. Go ahead. And women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Whom is the mark? That mark is the mark of the commandments. So don't kill them. That's why you come and go as you please. You go to the grocery store, you're safe. Go to the laundromat, you're safe. You go out to dinner. Some of you want to be challenged with, some static because you walking so long and ain't nothing been have you under the protection of the Lord. You sealed. You got the mark of the Most High. So the angels, they're not coming for you. You go out to eat, you get in the car, you drive off, and yet other people would talk about how scary the city is. Y'all witnessed and heard about that? People talk about how bad they say, oh, St. Louis is bad. Ooh, you good, all right? Watch your back. Oh man, it's crazy, it's terrible. As bad as it is, we don't even see the crime. We ride past a car accident, most like that, but you don't barely even see the stuff. And you be wondering why. Because they don't come near you. It's not for you. The Most High is protecting you. He's protecting you for one reason and one reason only. You're keeping the commandments. But stop keeping the commandments and see don't all hell break loose into your life. See don't them goons come for you. Them spirits will agitate and activate them evil spirits that's allowed to walk in the flesh to come to you. And you'll go to them. You'll be in sin. You'll go to the fornicators. Those are the demons right there. They break laws. They fornicate. They rob. They steal. They sell drugs. Me and the brother, we walk near a whole bag of drugs today on the street. About big as my hand, rolled up in a thing, full of kills. Somebody dropped them. You know what I did? I stepped on them and grinded them, each and every last one, into the ground, and didn't stop until it was all busted up. Somebody's drugs. I don't know how they got there. I didn't even pick them up though. I said, look at this, man. Somebody told. Somebody dope. It could have been worth some money. I don't know. I ain't caring. What dope is, what was that? Pink and white?
No, blue and white.
Blue and white?
Yeah.
Capsules.
Yeah. What's that?
And
What?
that probably was worth like 2,000.
Fentanyl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cost. I didn't distribute that before. Like, but
You was a dope dude?
for pain for one job.
Fentanyl.
They use that and cut it with other stuff. It feel like the people didn't want to be on.
Do you know the
yeah.
you know the young girl that was in the camp?
Yeah.
That's what she said her deal was. I didn't know. I just said she walked past and said, hey, stop, come here. Say you heard what he teaching? She said, I hadn't heard. I said, okay, where you going? And spirit started. I said, where you going? She said, I'm going to my grandma's house. I said, come here. I said, let's go listen even closer. I tried to get up there. And he said, no, I said, what's wrong? What you doing out here? And that's how the conversation started. And next thing you know, I just started speaking to her. She ain't had nothing to say. And I started talking to her about addiction and things like that. And kind of find out, I said, well, you know, she said something about addiction. I said, well, what's your addiction? She said fentanyl. And I'm like, I ain't know nobody know about no fentanyl. Fentanyl, I'm thinking you finna say some weed or something. You know what I'm saying? She's like, fentanyl. I'm like, well, how do y'all consume that? She said, snort it or shoot it.
That's some bad stuff, man.
That's like heroin. It's not.
It's a substitute for it. Yeah, it is.
And then I looked at her hands, and she had some shot marks, like where the veins in her hand would be, and then one on her wrist. She said she shoot it up.
It's killing people, like.
She's a young girl, 27 years old too.
Wow. I'm glad you
They going to look at people.
That's what me and other brothers selling to our people.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me help you, you know. And then she was just crying or something. I said, listen, I got you. Just trust me. I said, before you leave, you're going to be feeling better. I know you feel like it ain't no hope. You're going to be feeling better. You're going to be wanting to do something different. This, that, and the third. I said, I understand. You probably burnt every bridge, but don't burn this bridge. This bridge, you might need to cross it again. I'm going to help you. I said, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to give you some direction, this, that, and the third. So I spent about 30, 45 minutes talking to her. Finally got her up into the camp, and she was listening. Gave her a flyer, gave her the number, you know. So she said she had been calling the rehab. She said she'd been in rehab before, but she said she got called back up before she was completely sober. She said she was 8 months clean, came out, tried to save her boyfriend. And she started using again, trying to save him. So she really just didn't believe that she could. She knows she got to do it, but it's kind of hard because of her circle. I said, well, I said, the circle that you measuring yourself up against is all users. I said, I want to introduce you to some people that don't use. And you can measure yourself up against them. You'll have somebody to say, they don't do this. So let me be like them. So I thought about all you sisters. I said, I know some sisters, she got a few children, but they not with her. I said, and there's children, so you could be productive. Everybody's got a pass. So, I was like, you could put this thing behind you, et cetera, et cetera. So speaking to her, at the end, she left smiling, very happy, energetic. She's like, I know what I need to do. I said, right, get up and keep going. I said, your babies, when you raised them, when they fell down, did you tell them to get up? She was like, yeah. I said, well, I'm telling you to get up. She was smiling. She's like, you're right. So you don't stay down there. You don't ever stop believing in yourself. I believe you could do it, because you already know how. Now, the people that you call friends, they got to go. So you're going to have to make a decision. I said, if your mama was dragging you down, what would happen? Your mama got to go. So I was like, this guy that you're talking about is a man. You keep relapsing to him, getting hooked on drugs. You got to go. So you got to make a decision. You going to save yourself or you going to remain a dope fiend. So if you don't want that, then you're going to have to either he going to make a decision and the difference between right and wrong. If he don't stop, then you got to go. If he do stop, then that's cool. But y'all got to get clean together. So hopefully, she could get clean and get this brother clean too. But yeah, fentanyl. I found a bag of it today. Didn't even touch it. I just grinded every little peel into the ground. And based on him, it must have been $2,000 worth of drugs. I'm glad I did it because that's some poisonous stuff. That'll take you from where you at now to talking about you was prom queen.
Nah, that'll kill you. That stuff killing people rapping.
That stuff will jack you up.
Cutting it with so much other stuff, like rap words and stuff.
All right. So now it says, so you're not, although the city is bad, you're not getting caught up in none of that because of the mark. But listen, here's the point why we came here. It says, so we had Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 6, the last precept. Then they began at my sanctuary. Well, the sanctuary is this. So the sanctuary don't get overlooked. All judgments begin where? It begins at the sanctuary. Why? Yeah, we know better. Guess what? Go to Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. First Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 13. Start there.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and 13. Do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple?
Right. So when you minister, that means you distribute the stuff that's holy that comes from the church. Shut the door. So if you minister this stuff, give it out, you're supposed to live. Go ahead.
And they which wait at the altar are partakers of the altar. Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
That's right. That's why it has to start with us. Because when you preach in this gospel, you must live this gospel. Everything that you know is right, you're supposed to live. You're supposed to be a display. You're supposed to show that this is how to do it with your actions. Everything you know, you're supposed to live it. They that preach the gospel must live it. And even though you might not be preaching yet, the stuff that you know, you're supposed to do it. All right. So Ezekiel 9 and then the latter part of 6, then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Verse 7. So who are the ancient men? The elders, those that are aged and know better. And then he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. Let's go back where we started. Leviticus 27. All right, so Leviticus chapter 27 and now 29. None devoted which shall be devoted to men shall be redeemed. All right, can't keep it. So, brothers and sisters, when you make your mind up to do something, you must follow through with it. He shall surely be put to death. Now, although we ain't gonna come and put nobody to death, no brother or sister, the Most High gonna make it hard for you. These are things that you must wrap your mind around and understand and say, hey, let me not deal like that. Because what spirit is that? Covet. That's right. Go to the book of Tobit. All praises. I love you too, sis. The book of Tobit. Chapter 4. And verse 16. Tobit chapter 4. Actually, verse 7, Slacky.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eyes be envious.
You see? Now it's putting a different name on it. The thing that you have to give when we have to give, the giving of alms. And when you do give alms, it says, don't be envious. Envious, covetous, going into the same thing. Don't want it back. Don't wonder, where is it going?
What they doing with it? Feeling like that, you never let it go, did you? No, you never let it go. It's still on your mind what somebody gonna do. You feeling like that, you won't give because you're wondering like, what are they gonna do with it? What do you think gonna be done with it? Let me ask you a question. For that car to keep running, you have to keep putting what in it?
Yes.
That's right. You don't put gas in it, it ain't gonna run. You have to keep doing something to it. You got to keep the oil changed. You got to keep tires on there in order for it to stop, not get all mucky and everything. Mucky, dirty. You got to wash it. You got to keep it up. Well, that's what Alms do. It keeps these things coming. For those of us that don't give alms, you think we just come in here and the light's gonna come on regardless. No, somebody's paying it, and you have to participate in that for everything, from the water that goes out the drain to the water that comes out of the tap, everything. The essential air in the summertime to the heat in the wintertime. Everything. It doesn't pay for itself. You know that your stuff ain't self-sufficient. I'm just gonna get in my car and whatever. It's gonna work. Some of y'all have costly repairs. It's gonna cost. Now that's a car. Just imagine a house. To repair a house costs, man. Trust me, I know. Phew. Let's see. So that was 4 and 7. Read the last part.
Neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God should not be turned away from thee.
Go ahead.
If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly.
Right. So if you have an abundance, then give alms accordingly. Who gave us it in the first place? Guess what? Before we have anything, a job or whatever, we be praying to the Most High in the name of Christ for help. Then when the job come, we be like, who gave us this job? We be like, the Most High gave us this job, right? Mm-hmm. And then once we get paid, who do we forget about? We forget about the Most High. Think about it. Before we have someone, we need help. Lord, I hope this interview come through. Then we get the job and we start working. Or before, then we get the job, we let everybody know, all praises to the Most High, I got a job. Check number 1, the Most High is out of the door then. Thank you. Thank you. Now, that's not, money will make you do it. That's not everybody. But for those of us that do respond like that, that do deal like that, you can't deal like that. Why? You can't deal like that because the whole reason is for there to be meat in the house of the Most High. There's supposed to always be an abundance. There are people that reach out for help. Yo, I need help with such and such.
Can you help me with this? Sometimes it's a bill. Sometimes it's gas to go back to work. Sometimes it's this. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes, most time it's food. But if we're on a skeleton crew, because we're not givers, but we just think, oh, it's gonna get taken care of. This ain't my house. This is our house. This ain't my church. This is our church. This ain't my body. This is your body. This is the body of Christ. So it's different. Like, and let me name somebody. Let's say, Rocky. I go to Rocky's house. When I go to Rocky's house, I'm not thinking about the electric bill, gas bill, or whatever, water bill, or any repairs, or his furnace need to be fixed or whatever. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just visiting. I'm going to this man's house. That ain't my concern. I'm just going to visit. That's different. I don't have that mindset or that responsibility. When you come to the church, you can't visit the church frequent and come like, oh, this is not my responsibility. Like you going to a brother's house or to a sister's house where you don't feel responsible. Because as the members, we have to feel responsible. Go to Malachi. Malachi chapter 3. Verse 6, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers, you have gone away from my ordinances and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, said the Lord of hosts. But ye say, wherein shall we return? Meaning, return what and how? Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? Where does it say? In tithes and offerings. Now, say for instance, if we did have the land and things like that, then we would be able to feel like, yo, I have this to do that. Now, I'll give you an example. Kasai works at a place that's, I can use that name. I don't think they know that. Or they do know. She works at I'll leave that out. Yeah. If you had a source to where you had things in what you could give, then guess what? You would give. You'd be able to say, here, I have this, boom. Then you give that, and then that's what it is. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's your only source of outcome, but you would have to give. So we have to take from what we do have, and we have to offer that. All right. So, but Israel stopped in time past bringing forth the tithe that they did have, that the Levites was actually providing and taking care of themselves from, off of. See, they didn't have utilities because they weren't in captivity. They didn't have utilities from other nations, things like that. The resources that they had were free. They were free resources. They were generated by Israel for Israel. And everything that they did was for profit. They only went under tribute when they went into captivity for being disobedient. So the Levites, under full servitude of the Most High and the temple, they would eat of those things that were of the temple. And so Israel, they got rolled, and then they stopped bringing in the tithe like they were supposed to, and a certain amount. That's why the Most High destroyed Ananias and Sapphira, because they put it into their minds what they're gonna do. That's a bad example. And the same thing with offerings. They, for certain sin offerings, the Most High said, bring this. They will bring what they want to bring, or they would show up lying, saying, oh, I don't have nothing, this, that, and the third. And then they got to the point to where the Levitical priesthood was struggling because of it. And there's times they dealt with it too. So in its natural state, that's what that's going into. So they were cursed. You're cursed with a curse. Look at that. So if you're cursed with a curse, guess what happens? That's why a lot of people, they don't end up making what they want to make and getting what they want to get out of life. You have robbed me, even this whole nation. So who is affected? Israel is affected by it. So here's the purpose of it: bring you all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be what? Meat in my house. So now, take away the Levitical priesthood, and who's here? It's the people here. So you take away the tithe, and then you have the will to free will offer, and now here, who's here? Now you have the free will offer, and then you have the people. And when would there be meat? We normally use situations like this during our high days, things like that. I don't count the cost. What I do is I go out and get what I know everybody's fancy is, and what everybody going to enjoy to the fullest. Oftentimes, if we financially fall short from our collection, that doesn't matter. I shop anyway, regardless. So I don't take, okay, this is the bundle here. This is the offering here. This is what we have to go off of. I don't do it like that. A lot of times I have to shop way before, because if I'm waiting on you, then you do everything the wrong way. I'm not sure if we're lying, if we dealing in half truths, or whatever the situation is, or we are poor planners, or we actually just don't have, or we envious and covetous. But if we set deadlines, it's not in by the deadline, it's not in. I can't wait on that. And then I can't teach an evil lesson. What would be the evil lesson? Get what you could pay for. Whatever it is you have at that time, just do that. Nah. See, you know how many people that'll hurt? That'll hurt the people that are sincere. And also, that hurt these little children that look forward to this. Everything that we do, we're leaving an example. So remember the message that I teach, that you have to do the right thing regardless of what somebody else is doing, and you have to do it, and you have to go first so that they can see the example that's being set. That's what happens. I do it regardless. You have to go forth and do it regardless. Regardless of what you do. I have to do the right thing regardless.
and hope that someday you just come to your senses and say, boom, let me not be envious. Let me not be covetous. Let me not, you understand? Let me not be that way. Let me bring forth the way that it's supposed to, whatever's proposed. And it's not for you to be burdened. Whatever you're capable of, that's it. Nobody's asking you to do something that you're not supposed to. And then there are times that people are trying to do more to take up the slack. And I will stop and be like, no. I've even had children given, and I'll be wanting to get their ends back because children work hard for their money. We have to, man, take up the slack. We have to, we got to get right. So, verse 10, it says, bring you all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. And prove me now wherewith, said the Lord, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out you a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive. So what's going to happen? Whatever you gave is going to be what? Replaced so huge to where you won't even be able to receive it. That, in other words, is going to be a lot more bigger than what you started off with what you gave. Why? Because you gave understanding the reason and the cause behind what the Most High has shooted for us. Now, here's the next part. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field. Guess what? Although we don't have that, say for instance, you working hourly. Instead of your hours coming up short, or sometimes we have sick days, we're not even able to go in, or I was sick this day, I had to take that day. Come to find out, your check is short. Oh, I didn't work the way I was supposed to work, this, that, and the third. Oh, my check was $100 and something. Devoured. Your time is devoured. The Most High will actually give you the energy and the spirit to fulfill your time so that, guess what? Your money ain't blew upon. Right. Or you go and you can just have some real cool days at work. And you still making them, you're getting paid. And if instead of it being hard, it's manageable for you and it's like super cool. Sometimes you can go and you can be like, man, you know the difference between a hard day and a good day. You're like, man, this is a good day at work. Like, the day is gone. It's over. It's just gonna be over in a few hours. Man, I got through this day. And then the bell go off. You're like, man, and I got paid for it too. I'm cool with this. Yeah, you be thanking and praising the Most High. Sometimes people have to people have to like experience certain things to actually or go through certain things and then want the Most High to bless them. No, you have to have that faith that it's gonna happen. I don't know, maybe my life and coming up in this was a lot different than a lot of yours, and maybe not. But I never had that issue, I never had that problem because I've always started off giving everything into the Lord. I started off, once I learned the truth, I just started off like that. I felt there was a necessity. I started studying and I started fishing right away. I started building. I had a real nice place, got my, staying alone, single. Didn't have children. I had, but they didn't live with me. So I stayed alone. Didn't have a wife in my house. And then I started holding feast days.
And the young man that was there, I was cooking the food. Well, Carly, did you help me in the beginning? She said, She said, okay. Well, you don't know then. Well, because I thought I was doing it alone. Because I did know how to cook. I was cooking the meals and stuff, and inviting brothers over, and they would come over and eat the food and leave all the work on me. They would just run out after the food and stuff. So I'm saying that so then the house became the meeting place. Then it took a bunch of wear and tear. So I actually wore the house out. Then I moved. And then the house I'm living in now, the same thing. Where tables stretched out from the front room to the dining room, the same thing. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna get a place. Then I found this house. I said, we're gonna have classes here. And fixed it and worked on it every day. Didn't ask anybody for anything. Did anybody come out their pocket for any material or anything? Didn't ask somebody for a dime. Did I ask anybody for a dime? Didn't ask anybody for anything. From start to finish. All I wanted was to just come and help. I said, this is gonna be. And if we want a whole class, we're gonna finish. And every chance somebody got, they came through, but I would say every day. So I don't share your financial struggle like if I want to give or if I don't want to give. I give because I know that it's necessary and to see the furthering of the situation, regardless of what it is. I don't look at it as nickels and pennies and dimes and dollars. I look at this as what we need as Israel. And that's just me. That's just how I feel. That's the faith that I have. So we gotta do something different. We got to grow and spiritually evolve. That way we'll be able to do more. The Most High said that the window that he got will bring a flood into your life. What could be withholding those blessings? It could just be you, your individualized covetousness, withholding the blessing. I went first. I didn't feel like, well, Lord bless me so that I can give back. I didn't do that. So if that's how you feeling and thinking, like, yo, bless me so that then I can give. No. That's backwards. Just do what you got to do. And accordingly, though, you don't have to hurt yourself. Whatever you propose, that's what you're according to your measure of faith. And if your faith is 0, then you got to reevaluate your faith because that's not how we're supposed to be. 0. No. That's not getting the job done. And notice, this ain't a class that we have every Sunday or Saturday, like they have probably a Sunday, you know what I'm saying, in the Christianity, always talking about it. We seldom do it. So it must be something. I overlook it a lot and just be like, we'll survive. So take that in consideration too. So let's go back and finish the book of Tobit. Yeah,
Ecclesiastes 17.
the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 17.
And verse 22. So it's Ecclesiastes 17 and 22. It says, the alms of a man is as a signet with him. So another way that, it shouldn't be grudgingly, but something that should draw our spirit to help us to give. The Most High said, the alms of a man is as a signet. A signet is like a stamp of approval. The Most High had a team. He like, you on my team. It says, and he will keep the good deeds of a man as the apple of the eye. So the good deed that it's talking about is the giving of alms. So the same way that the Most High look out for Israel, and he going to bat for Israel because he called Israel the apple of his eye, right? The Most High said when we give alms, he'll keep that deed in the same remembrance. But it's more. It says, and give repentance to his sons and his daughters. So look at what alms will even do. Most of the people in here have children, and then the younger brothers and sisters, one day you're going to have children, Lord willing. So the alms will also have the Most High to look out and revive that spirit and keep that spirit even in your children. So this also should help us to be like, you know what, if we toss it around, if we ain't 100% sure, just look at the different things that alms do, as well as like the brother said, the Most High, he'll pour out, not only will he pour out a blessing, fill our storehouse, but he'll also look out for our seed too when we give alms. So I just want to
right. So a signet, that's like a ring. You ever seen somebody with a busting ring, a real nice ring? Like what? Like the one. Right. So a fly ring make people, it just make the hand bust. It just make it look real good. Yeah, it's a nice ring. Yeah, saved a nice little penny for it, man. I can save it. Yeah, it's got some nuggets in it. But anyway, so that's how alms make you look in the sight of the Most High. The way that a nice ring looks to us on a person. So in the sight of the Most High, that's how alms look. Because you get it. You understand? You get it. That's why it says, and he will keep the good deeds as the apple of the eye. And then turn around and give repentance to his sons and daughters. Because who's benefiting from the alms? Who's benefiting from the setup? Israel is. So and Israel is the sons and daughters of the Most High. So the Most High turn around and be like, okay, I'm going to look out for your sons and daughters. So keep that in mind. Okay. So, let's see. Go back to Leviticus 27.
Now, so I'm gonna sum this chapter up when we go down to the 32nd verse. Well, I'll keep going. Verse 30 says, "And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's, it is holy unto the Most High." So people use that as an excuse on why not to give and offer, and they want to just come to a free building. Nothing is free. I understand, the Most High understands, and y'all to understand. We know that we don't have the seed of the land or the fruit of the tree. And even if you did and you brought that in here, you still have to bring money because Amber and Spire don't take seeds, man. You understand? They don't take seeds. I'm sorry. But we have to give them what they take. But even then, it was holy unto the Most High. So we have to convert this into what we could use. And if a man will at all redeem aught, meaning any of his sides, he shall add thereto the fifth part. What is that saying? Say, for instance, if he had tithes, and now let's say we'll use a bushel or something. Or we'll use a bucket or something, a barrel or something. We'll try and make something so you can see what a fifth part is. Okay. So here's the 4 parts. All right. And this would be his tithe. How you spell that, right? Say again.
T-I-T-H-E.
Right. All right, same thing. That will be his tithe. T-I-T-H-E. All right. Now, he ain't gonna give it today or when he was supposed to. So when he come back, now it's into 5 parts. I'll make them equal so you can see. See, here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when he will come back with this, and then a 5th part. So then he will come back, and now he would increase it. How you make that 5 backwards and this? The same thing with that 2. I got all these the correct way. This one here, 42. Well, how do you make the 2 backwards?
Same way, just the other way, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now he would come back, and this is for y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now he would come back with this. So this is almost like a penalty. That's almost like a penalty. According to the Lord. For what? Publishers. So what does that to teach him not to do? Teach him not to. Right. Teach him not to redeem his tithes. Teach him not to hold it back until a later date or time. Because he knows if he's dealing truly and he don't want the Most High to curse him with a curse. Remember, we read that in Malachi 4. If he don't want the Most High to curse him with a curse, what would he do? He would add the 5th part according to that law. Right? He would add the 5th part. And to avoid that, he would just come and deal with it and not redeem it. So by us not having the tithe, we can't enforce this. But this is to teach you that in the mindset of the Most High, people just didn't get away with not offering. They didn't just like, oh, nobody, you can't do nothing about it. Because that's how Israel is now. Oh, I don't offer, you can't do nothing about it. It's a choice. Well, your choice is making what? Your choice is making the program slump because it cannot advance. It cannot move forward. Let me ask you a question. What's your question, brother? Give you an example. Uzziah. Yeah. You ain't did nothing. What kind of car you got?
Mustang.
Mustang. What year?
2004.
2004. And financially, how much work would you say that thing, your Mustang needed? Not that thing, you know, I like it, it's this thing. The Mustang, if you would just guesstimate, how much financially would you say it would take to restore it?
3,500.
3,500. Okay. So Uzziah's got a Mustang, and it would take $3,500 to restore it. If you hit the lottery, would you put $3,500 in a Mustang?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't just buy a new one?
I'm still gonna buy a new one, but I'm gonna fix that one up still.
Okay, so okay, that's a good choice. You fix that one up, and you also would buy a new one. How much would you spend on a new one? How much new ones cost?
Well, I want a Chevy GT 500, so that's like 70,000.
Hey man, the dude hit the millions. People, these meal tickets out here like $100 million. So 70,000. I'm talking 70,000 on the Mustang. Okay, who in here could see? Who in here could see a $70,000 Mustang and you and won $100 million? Who in here could see that? Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Nothing wrong with that. $70,000. People ain't got $100 million in buying a $70,000 Mustang. They ain't got $100 million and they buying cars have that $35,000, a $35,000 car, and they ain't got $100 million. So $100 million, and all you spent was. So the reason why I said that, in order for him to advance, he would have to come into some money, right? So without coming into some money, he kind of got to stay where he is and stay on the low, right, and humble, right? So how could we advance if we never financially change? How could we advance and think and consider doing something different? We won't be able to. So this can't be whenever we want to. We would have to frequent. That would be like winning the lottery. Then we can consider doing something different. Just imagine the whole assembly tithing at the same time frequently. Wouldn't that, I mean, could you imagine that? Wouldn't that be like, dang, you come into some money, you could do something, you can do some different things. But that's not how it is. So those of you that don't, you probably wonder, okay, well, maybe I'm the only one. No. It's a what do you call that thing, man? It's a horrible pestilence that's in the mind. You got to do different, Israel. Okay, somebody had a question. What's this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you.
I was gonna ask if somebody gave like a nice amount of money for alms, like let's say they gave like 150 for alms, and then once
150,000.
nah, just $150.
Okay.
So let's say somebody gave like 150 for alms, and then they forgot that they got to give 60 for new one, which is 2 days away. And then they ask, could you move 60 from the 150 and put it on? Hold on, the question is, if they ask you to put that on the feast day, would that be redeemed? Because
they have nothing to do with each other. That's not taking it back to with yourself. That's just, see, here's the thing. Corinthians. Second Corinthians 9. Shalom. And I'm going to start verse 7. So it says, every man according as he proposed it in his heart. So let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. In other words, when we're going to give an offer, we should be giving an offering in the spirit. Okay. For God is able to make all grace abound towards you. So the Most High is able to make what? Things happen for you. That's the grace part right there. All right. So in other words, it's going into the way that you're able. I think it exactly says that somewhere. You can grab it for me. The way that you're able, it's not based upon a person not having. It's based upon a person according to the way that you do have. And that's something that is always taken in consideration. I know the difference. A lot of brothers and sisters, you might not know. So like say, for instance, because I think that you do that before, right?
I did it once, and that's what I'm asking. Because when I did,
So, and when you have, I understand that you didn't have. So, guess what? Just do it like this. You understand, and not stress you or how you worried or burden. Like, oh, I can't have to do this, and do that, but do it like this. No problem, brother. Don't worry about that. Right? Okay, then. So, let me get the scripture pertaining to that. It's a particular way it's worded. Bear with me. I'm sorry. Second Corinthians, it's the 8th chapter. Okay. And so this was talking about how they was taking up a collection and how the Most High had the people of Macedonia who was Israelites. They had much. All right. They had much. They had money. And there were other people that didn't have. And so he had took up a collection. So I just get to the point, and I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, "For you know that the grace of our Lord Yahushua, whom the world called Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might become rich." So Christ didn't have to come and lead a throne of being a great king into the spirit world to ride a mule, a donkey. He didn't have to do that, but he did do that. So he completely left his wealth and royalty for our sake. So he had to say that because he's letting that the church at Corinth know that the people of Macedonia was given unto them. All right. So then it says, and herein I give my advice, for this is expedient for you who have begun before, not only to do, but also to be forward a year ago. Now therefore perform the doing of it, meaning give, that as there was a readiness to will, meaning in your mind you wanted to do it, so there may be a performance also out of that which you have. For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that a man have, and not according to that he have not. So it's accepted based upon what he have and not based upon what he have not. So if you don't have it, nobody is going to push you or press you to the point to where you don't have it or expect, okay, you don't have it. Now, let's say, for instance, we have certain things and we know that it's coming up. You're like, okay, well, I get paid in the future. Can I do this? Can I do that? Who's going to say no? Yeah, still do it. You got to understand, because everybody works and then pays their way. That's the system that we in. We don't have stored up wealth and riches. So you can't be like, well, because I don't have it now, I'll never pay. Nah, it don't work like that. You working now to pay your bills in the future.
Okay.
All right. So you clear? You got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So back to Leviticus 27. So Leviticus 27:32. You can read that.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 27 and 32. And concerning the tithe of the herd, or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord.
Right, a tenth. So this is where people get a tenth from. And yes, it did deal with the herd and the flock, meaning the cattle and sheep and goat. And based upon that tenth, that's what they would make sure that they would sacrifice. So say, for instance, if their cattle was 1,000, they had 1,000 heads, a tenth of 1,000 is how much? 100. Yeah, 100. You can't show up with 60 and be like, man, this is a lot. It's 60, take this. Was this good? Come on, man. You're acting abominable. Because who gave you the 1,000? The Most High gave it to you. It says, he shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. So he couldn't show up with 60. Had to show up with the 100. And if he changed it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Lord commanded Moses for the children of Israel on Mount Sinai. Now, go to Haggai. That prophet there. So Haggai chapter 1 and verse 1. Read that. Start there.
This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 1. In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built.
Right. So in that time, people felt like, no, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. Go ahead.
Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying,
So, because obviously they have been preached to saying, listen, we got to get this together. We got to get that together. So the Most High heard it because it was all about the temple, the Most High's house. And so the Most High heard it and he came to the prophet Haggai. Go ahead.
Now therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts.
No, you
I'm sorry, verse 4. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lieth waste?
Right. So in other words, we only worry about our houses. Our houses, what we got going on, etc., etc. But the house of the Most High was doing what? Going waste, falling to pieces. See, we would think that what is this X amount of dollars is going to do for me? But remember, nothing by itself, but collectively, that's what makes a difference. Collectively. So we all have to be on board. And then we see a difference financially, not just by ourselves. So don't think about it, oh, I'm by myself. This won't make a difference. This dollar won't make a difference. You go to the store with $1, you can't do nothing. But you go to the store with $100, you could do something. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5. Now therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much.
So we have to consider our ways. What is the way? By saying that, guess what? It's not time. Not now, putting it off. The Most High say, consider your ways. Then he says, you have sown. That's hard work. You work hard. So he is going to read it and I'm going to interpret it. You sown much, 16 hours, 12 hours, double shift, 8 hours straight time, real hard. Go ahead.
And bring in little.
And your check is small. And you're trying to wonder why your check is small. Go ahead.
Ye eat.
You eat, meaning like, yeah, you went grocery shopping, you got food. Go ahead.
But ye have not enough.
But you don't have exactly what you want. How many of you been eating lamb at home? Raise your hand. You've been eating lamb at home. Okay. What about steak at home? Okay. You've been eating that steak at home, okay. What about you? I gotta get some y'all ain't got. Got some steak. About some jerk chicken. Ah, look at that. No jerk chicken, huh? Okay. What about some of that old pink salmon from the Alaska salmon? Okay, you got some of that Alaskan salmon? I know Rocky got some salmon. I like salmon, Shane. All they ever say. Whole freezer full of number salmon. You wonder why a house smell fishy. He don't smell it though. He don't smell it though. No, bro, it smell like fish in this house. But hey, man, Most High said, you don't got enough. Go ahead. You drink.
Ye drink.
Right. You drink. Go ahead.
But ye are not filled with drink.
But you're not filled with drink. Who's got the wine that they like at the house? I know.
Y'all some winos. I got damn. I like some winos up in here. Boy, you got the wine. What about the cognac? The only one I told you that's you ain't get take him to AAA. They keep their drinking under control, boy. Scripture's gonna come out. You have an accident. Ooh, that's gonna be your last drink there. Keep it under wrap. So Israel's not filled with the drink. Okay, go ahead.
Ye clothe you,
Oh, here it is. You clothe you. Go ahead.
but there is none warm.
Everybody got a winter coat. I ain't talking about them jackets. I ain't talking about them jackets or them hoodies. No, the real deal coat. See that you ain't got the coats. What about the clothes you want? You got the attire that you want? Ain't the fashion out of town. She gonna keep you clothes. She stayed dripped up. See, some people, man, they ain't got them clothes. I just said I'm gonna need some new clothes. But the clothes that you want, check this out. Wow. What about you go to the store, you gotta shop clearance? Now you don't have to shop clearance. Oh. you go to the store and you don't have to shop clearance. You see, because the clothes too much. Yeah. Y'all, we know where the traps is because we got the bargain shop. That's them curses. You got the bargain shop, thrift store. Guess what? Goodwills. What's the name of it? Clump Classic? What?
Plato's
Closet. We got we full of them hand-me-downs, and we don't mind them either. Come on, man. Yeah, it's okay to, for that to be secondary, but we want the first dairy. We want primary top shelf. Top shelf. Go in give me them jeans right there. 2 pair. Give me them shoes. Give me that dress off the rack. Dress $168. So it's like I wish I would pay $200 for one dress. Guess what? When the Most High starts sending blessings in, you'll be able to do that. Even in your right sense, like you're out of your mind. Even in your right sense, you just do it from time to time. You just do it from time because you feel like it. Why are you back? Because I feel like I want to wear this. You be walling out.
Yes, sir.
People always be buying clothes.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing yet. It's coming though. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
All right. So you ain't warm yet, man. You ain't warm the way you want to be warm. But look at the scriptures. All this is associated with what y'all don't even realize this. All this is the Most High say, you ain't eating top shelf, you ain't drinking top shelf, you ain't closing top shelf, going in there. Let me get this. You waiting for it to show up at the thrift store. You keep checking traps. I'm in the area, I'm going to the thrift store. You waiting for it to show up at the doggone. Come on. I share your passion. I understand your logic, but it's a quicker way to get it. All right, so we're at Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6. The latter part, go ahead.
And he that earneth wages.
And when you get paid, go ahead.
Earneth wages.
Your money, go ahead.
To put it into a bag with holes.
It's like putting money into a bag with holes in it. You're like, I don't know where my money went.
How many of us have had money? How many of us have had money and it's gone? And you're like, what really happened to that money? Yeah, you had money and you like, what did happen to that money? Where them thousands went? Yeah, yes. Some Jackson had thousands. Thousands. Where them thousands went? Nothing to show for it. It's like a bag. Oh, wait a second. Something happened and now you got to pay for it. And it just take up a nice chunk. Some go out on the car. Man, when something hit, transmission go out. You're like, man, water pump go out, starter go out. You're like, oh, wow, man. What you say? Fuel pump, that ain't a fuel pump. You ain't spend this boy ain't spend how much money trying to fix something that wasn't broke? And then they broke something. Fix his gas tank that wasn't broke, and then they broke it. And it turned out to be something else, a doorknob. Yeah, the Three Stooges working on that car. He come out, it's all laid out. We're gonna find what's wrong. Who is these little stars? So listen though, the most I said a bag with holes, you can't even save, man. Verse 7.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Consider. All we got to do, man, is consider our ways. That's all we got to do. Consider what you're doing. Go ahead.
Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, said the Lord.
So all this was associated with them not taking care of the house of the Most High. All this was associated with that. If all your lack of success is associated with not providing, not giving of alms, what will change your lack of success? Giving alms. Based upon you have. See that? Because don't let Satan trick you. Oh, I got this, I gotta do that. Don't let Satan trick you, man. Go ahead, brother.
Even during the scripture about like being basically stingy, like some people might be real tight. They like scripture. I mistake I seen something like that, but ain't that like an issue?
About being, yeah. Let's see. How is it worded?
Oh yeah, please ask me now.
What did it say?
Many when they came, it was
Nah. So that's you in space with that.
Verse 5 is the point though. He should pay you. Shut up.
Ecclesiastes 4. Let me see. Is that it? Hold on. What, okay, and that's what you saying?
No, it was just talking about when, you receive, but then you don't want to give and things like that.
Ecclesiastes 4. What precept? I want us to go to Ecclesiastes 4:31. And what were you saying?
That's 29, and like 5 and 6, 7, like all that. Is going to like lend them one, give them.
No, but that's gotta be Ecclesiastes 4:31.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 31. Let not thine hand be stretched out to receive, and shut when thou shouldest repay.
So let not thy head, because we always be, like I said, this happened earlier when we were speaking about Lord, I need a job. Lord, I need a job. And then we get the interview. I hope I get the job. I hope I get the job. Then we get the job. All praises. I got the job. I got the job. And then now, because we had our hands stretched out, people will help you along the way when you don't have. You ain't letting that car go. You had to ask somebody for some money. Even if you borrowed it, you still end up, okay, you had to pay it back. They still gave it to you or whatever. Or sometimes people give it to you and they don't get it back from you. Maybe you dealt falsely with them, or maybe it's a parent, they loved you, they just don't worry about it. They helped you out, or they floated you, they gave you certain money and it was nothing to them, a few $100 here or there. It wasn't no thing. So you have your hands stretched out. But then us commandment keepers, we still result and come back into the Most High, and we're like, Lord, help me through this hard time of financial time. And then all of a sudden you come into money, you get it, or you get the job or whatever, however you get it. And then when it's shut, you just shut it. You shut it. So I'm sure there are a lot of different precepts from place to place that talk about, but this, when we go back, so let's go back to Haggai chapter 1. Haggai chapter 1 and now verse 9.
This is Haggai 1 and 9. Ye look for much, and lo, it came to little.
Right. How they look for much? Say, I'm gonna work hard. You always planned it out. I mean, in here, count our hours and the money that's supposed to come behind them hours. A 40-hour check supposed to be how much, y'all?
40-hour check.
Yeah.
Come on, man, you flipped it out first.
How much supposed to be? You look for much, but that John came to $100. How much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming like, yeah. You want now.
Gross, I can tell you, gross. 40-hour check. 40-hour check supposed to be line work that way.
Well, just give me an
Yeah.
example.
That's
Yeah, just give me an
Like,
example.
like, well, 5.
40 hours, $500?
Something like that.
What you working for, $1 an hour?
Nah, but I said that's for 40 hours. I ain't say that was for 80 hours. That's for 40.
That's about right.
I calculate my hours and it's 35, and I got like 430.
Okay.
So yeah, well,
And they
Okay. My bad, brother. I'm gonna disrespect the play. The pay. Right.
Correction, 6. 40 hours like 6 hours. That's
I thought
gross.
you was a player.
That's gross.
Yes, bro.
every 2 weeks.
Okay.
It depends.
That's just for 1 week. Gross.
But when when the Most High turn you up,
Oh man.
you look for much, you bring home what it be after you get there.
Really 200.
Right, you look for much, that money gone. It ain't turn out.
Yeah.
So what's an example of how you could get towed up? You look for much. What end up happening that week? Because we gotta bring the scriptures to life. So you start off saying, man, I got this, then a third to do, so I'm gonna work this whole week. That check gonna be 5 and something. Because if it grows 600, it's gonna be 5 and something after the taxes or whatever. So it's gonna be 5 something end of the week. I could do this, then a third, but it don't happen. What happened during the course of the week? What could happen? You know?
Could happen.
Yeah.
Like a person like vehicle might go down, they can't make it to work.
So you ain't any real events like. So it could happen in a person they ain't make it to work.
Right, like, yeah, like.
Well, I can get somebody else then. A real, what happened for real? Don't tell the story, real. Tell the tale. Remember they made the Reverend and dead presidents tell what happened for real?
Yeah.
Why he fell off of being a real? What happened? Tell the tale. Who want to tell it?
I'll tell
That-
my tale.
That money ain't finna be right. All right.
So let's say he got a ticket. That was like $250.
Oh man. Let's say, but he did get a ticket.
Let's say
He got the ticket.
Yeah, he got the ticket.
So that check gonna go from what to what?
It's gonna go from that mine like 6 to, so it's gonna go from 6 to like 4, and then that's before the bills.
So after them bills start chopping away. So from 6 minus 250, that ain't 4. You at 350. Yeah, you at 350.
I'm gonna drop down to like
350.
$100.
$100.
Because after bills gonna be like 100.
And then you eat $200 worth. That is not a cheap man there. Like I said, he the only one buy a $15 Sunday. Cause he like snacks. Yeah, you ain't gonna let that price tag stop him.
$8
Chill out.
You know what?
Chill out. Yeah, but that's real money though. That holds in the bag.
So you look for much, and it came to little. So that check gone, bro. It came to little, and when you brought it home, what did it say?
I did blow upon it.
That money gone. He blew on it. Them bills, you know, it'll be like this, and it'll be like that. Most I say he blew upon it. So we didn't know. Did we actually know that the occurrences that absorb our money financially came from the Most High? The Most High is making it happen. Who didn't know that? Be honest.
Wow.
So y'all didn't know that? You ain't know the Most High run it up on you?
Man, very wonderful.
That was just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was personal, huh?
I think
Anything like that? Keep tripping. It ain't gonna be down to 0. And if we keep tripping, you're gonna go into the negative. All the ones that you see struggling in the negative, And what about the ones that's in the street begging? They never
Man.
stop. They never recover. They never got their life together. They just let stuff like this, sermons like this, fall on deaf ears. And then they have to go right back to asking the same ones that they were supposed to meet. They were supposed to help at first in the beginning. Right. When things start acting up, man, that's the Most High. You take it all. You take it all to get your attention. And you'll be asking and wondering, like, Lord, why? He'll tell you why. Because the person that look just like you don't care nothing about. His people. Stop gambling, man. This is the way. This is the truth. This is the reason why. Stop gambling. Taking a chance, wondering, is this why? When we get it, that's when we supposed to give it, not when you want to. You don't pay your bills. You don't pay your bills when you want to. They come every month, like faithful. That was the only thing that was still kicking, jumping off during the corona. They banned everything but the bills.
That's crazy.
They banned everything but the bills and bought us for $1,500, $1,200. Don't be mad at us. Here go $1,200. Now think about that though. Think about that. Nothing stopped. Nothing stopped. Everything ran its course constantly. Still had to pay car notes. Still had to pay your insurance, rent, electric, gas. Still needed food. Nothing stopped. Nothing stopped. Oppression did not stop. We need the Lord a lot more than we can ever imagine and admit to. Him blowing upon our money is the last thing. You don't want the Most High to play with your money. That's the last thing you need. Listen to the next word. Go ahead.
Why?
Why? Why did he blow upon it? Why I only got $100 left from my check, $50 left from my check? Why do I have to borrow money to the next time I get paid? I ain't gonna even ask us how many of us do that. Don't even show me. Why? Go ahead.
Said the Lord of hosts, because of mine house that is waste.
Because of my house is waste. You don't think about it. Now, you think something was wrong with me if I did what Christian preachers be doing, calling you yo, a bunion. You know you ain't paid your alms. You'd be like, what's wrong with this dude here? You know what I'm saying? It ain't my job to tell you you ain't paid no alms. I ain't gonna say nothing to you. The Most High gonna show it. How everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Then he gonna blow on the rest. He'll bring it to naught. You'll go into the negative and start turning back, and you'll be going backwards. You'll be like, dang, I can't get out of this deficit. What's going on? Dollars, it'll get to the point to where you can't even imagine coming out of it. Remember the woman, the woman that threw the 2 mites in? She gave all that she had. Why do you think she was trying to give it all that she had? Because she's trying to come out of that situation. But she gave, and she wasn't afraid to give, because giving brings it back in return. Go ahead. Because of my house is laid waste.
And you run every man unto his own house.
All you care about yourself. All you care about is yourself. My house and my car and my clothes.
Go ahead.
Therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew.
The heaven over you, meaning the blessings over you. The dew is moisture. It brings life into vegetation that's supposed to grow. So if you're supposed to prosper, the Most High ain't gonna make it prosper because all you think about is yourself. Go ahead.
And the earth is stayed from her fruit.
Go ahead.
And I called for a drought upon the land.
He said, I called for a drought, dried up. Yeah, dried up. So while the drought that he called for, there is a small substance. Come in quiet. There is a small substance that remain that a person will be what? Living off of. And those ways will be confusing them while they're going through the drought. And they'll be like, surely it's gonna let up. There's some little hard times. I'm between jobs, I'm this, I'm that. The Most High say, okay, he gonna wait it out and let you see what it's gonna be like. But for real, you going into a drought and you ain't gonna come out of that drought until you change, until you consider your ways, until you understand. And we went through, how do we understand, man? By being taught. And understanding is something that you get experience as you go along, trusting in thus says the Lord. Because it might not make sense to you right now, but you have to do it because we have to be taught how to do something. If we wait for everybody to comprehend and do something, waiting for your comprehension level for this thing to make sense, we're gonna struggle. That's what we're at. We're gonna struggle. Oh, it's gotta make sense to me before I can do this, then and third. Struggle. You're supposed to do it because you're being taught that. And then doing it, check this out, doing it, and you doing it because you were told to do it and because you were taught to do it. When this shows up, you to associate the dew from heaven and the prosperity of what you put in your work and your labor and your hands to with you listen. You said, man, I listen. And this was just a result of listening. It didn't happen the way that you thought that it would happen or the way in your mind, because what we got to remember is the Bible says that the Most High, his ways are higher than our ways. Okay? So what's your way? Let me hit the lottery, then I'll give. Or let me get a job. You're going to set it so high to where you're going to be good. Let me get this job $30 an hour. Then I'm gonna be good. Yeah, man, here go $100. Yeah, in my office, $100. You won't even say the whole 100 now. No, it don't happen like that first. You waiting to do that. That's like somebody saying, I'm gonna get myself together and then come. You know how they're saying to us, this is where you get yourself together. You come here messed up. Like the sister in the camp, I said, hey, pick any one of them. She said, what you want me to do? I said, just pick any one of them and call them over here. They're going to give you a testimony how I was able to help them. I said, I'll straight help you. I help you, man. Just don't burn me. I help you. I help you come from the person that's where you at, addicted to fentanyl, shooting dope, to where you can have your whole, through the Spirit of the Most High Christ, your whole house, you will be right on time. I'm going to introduce you to good people, put role models. I spoke very highly of all you sisters, give you role models, give you an example of how life's supposed to be, take you out of the circle that you in and put you in a positive circle so that now you can see this is how you're supposed to be. Young girl, 27, she's y'all age. Y'all 27 years old here, jacking dope.
Man.
2 babies pregnant now. So you gonna kill your baby.
Right.
I can help you is what I told her. So Lord's will, we'll see. Hopefully she could be a testimony to say, hey, and I had to let her know we all have a past. But where we at now is looking forward towards the future and trying to comprehend and understand our presence. You can look back. Hindsight is 2020. You can look back when you were 17 and you could be like, if I knew then what I know now. But you didn't know because you didn't have that experience. So now you got to be taught so that you can be a different person when you become 37. And you can do things differently. And I understand that you don't know. That's why you got to be taught. You're going to have to learn. So it's the same thing with us here. We got to be taught how to deal. Now, the last of this says, so I call for a drought upon the land and upon the mountains and upon the corn and upon the new wine and upon the oil. All these things made money for us, Israel. So we couldn't even get no coins. We couldn't get no gold and silver. We made money off of the stuff that grew up on our land. Like when we're traveling and we see those acres and acres, that would be our stuff. And you would have shops to where you would actually sell that stuff. But if the Most High dried it up to where it wouldn't grow, you ain't making no money. So that you can hand down to your children. You didn't have no corn. You didn't have no wine. Even to make strong drink, you had no oil. And upon that which the ground bringeth forth. And upon men. So men would end up being sick. And upon the cattle, no meat in the house, no meat to sell, no cattle to breed to sell. And upon all the labor of the hands, the Most High said, I'm going to dry everything up. So do we understand this? This has got to change. It's got to change. So now, it took a lot of time, maybe a little bit too much time, but it took what it took. Let's rush through the next topic, and I believe I can get through it in a sufficient Lord's will amount of time to where we won't be too bad. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. All right. Prophecies of the last time. 2nd Ezra 15:1. I'll start at 2nd Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak out in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. So, Israelites, this is so important, and I'm glad the Spirit is kind of pushing me to just go ahead and get into it because, there are some viable threats that's in this earth, and I want to deal with it. Have we seen the video that I put into the group concerning the Edomites saying what they're gonna do if Trump lose? Mm-hmm. Y'all saw it. Who didn't see it? Some of you did not see it. Those of you that did not see it, you actually need to see it. Because this is what the guy is saying. He's saying, pay attention. He's saying if Trump loses, that they not going for him sitting down. Now, so this is Redneck America. So whether this is Trump or not, I don't know. But Redneck America is saying that if he loses, he's gonna be king regardless. They ain't going for it. So people better vote for him. Now, how does that affect us?
they're saying that they're not taking anything less and that they calling. So check this out. What he said and how the video that the guy made was two different things. He said that they're not taking no stuff from the liberals. So the liberals is supposed to be the Democratic Party. Okay. And the other party is the Republican Party. So by Trump being Republican and the liberals being the Democratic Party, so they're not going to sit up because they're trying to say, well, they don't want things to change. They don't want their guns taken and this, that, and the third. They don't want their Second Amendment rights to be violated. So that's the T. But the issue and the problem is not that. The videos that he implemented is of people of black and brown color, melanated people, Israelites. So then they turn and show flashes of Black Lives Matter, etc. So those are the ones that they felt that probably they can pick on because remember, who's pushing the agenda of Black Lives Matter?
LGBTQ community.
Yeah. So let me write that down because I don't even know those little alphabet letters and all of that stuff. You got the same little thing.
That's right there.
Okay. So put them in Lake of Fire Red. So what is it? Is LGBTT? You don't know. What is it?
LGBTQ. It stands for lesbians, gays, bis, transgenders, and queers.
Oh.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, put a P on there too.
Yeah, pedophile. Yeah.
Oh, they put the P, so then they got
Nah,
the
they
P.
just add that, but still.
They trying to make it already passed it.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. All right. So the lesbians, the gays, and so the video that they show, pay attention. The video that they showed was about Black Lives Matter. They said, oh, we ain't taking this from them. We're going to do something about it. So it's like they're going to target them. So the guy, he's saying he said, so him and the white liberals, him and the rest of the Edomites, they're not white, they're red. They got plenty, he said he got plenty of guns, plenty of ammunition. And so there was different scenes that he showed. Then he showed regular protesters that was out protesting. So in other words, he's showing Israel that they're going to target Israel in retaliation. Because maybe that Trump needs the colored vote to beat out Biden. Or Biden needs the colored vote. I said it in reverse. Biden needs the colored vote, even though Trump trying to get it to win. So if he don't get it, then they don't want him to step down. They want him to keep running things. And then they're gonna begin to target. But this is the front. So this is only a front. They want to come after all Israel and possibly start a civil war. So whatever guns and ammunition you have, hold on to those guns and ammunition. Stop running to the range and popping off your ammo and stuff like that. Stop doing that.
remember, they got this ammo shortage for a reason. How could a plant who has the capability of running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, run out of ammo, even though the supply and the demand is up? That's because that's a choice. They're shut down by the government. The government is telling them to stop. If they wanted to, they can have money, they can have ammo until you run out of money. Think about that. You don't have the type of money that you can outbuy the government. We don't have money like that. They want you, so they're stopping it for a reason. So they stopping it, and you're gonna run out of ammo that's in your hand, and then you won't be able to get it. So stop busting it up, wasting it. If we go into so dating back like 6-7 months ago, there was a video that I showed about a permanent second lockdown. I think Missouri was talking about a second lockdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they thinking about implementing another stay-at-home order.
Right. So they're talking about it could possibly be another stay-at-home order. And if I'm not mistaken, there was rumors and hearsay about Biden saying that if he wins, the first thing he's going to do is lock everything back down and solve the epidemic, the pandemic, the pestilence issue and problem. So, and then what that means is, because I kept saying, I always said that this was the calm before the storm, and everybody is comfortable. So I was always saying that maybe that we should be trying to collect and get the things that you needed before we experienced the first lockdown, and you couldn't get this and you couldn't get that. And then those that were dispersed and scattered needed to try and get where they needed to be before it happened. And a lot of you did that. So those of you, that you don't want to be by yourself. This lockdown comes, what if it comes permanently? Because they want to enforce a vaccination and they want to enforce the RFID. Mm-hmm. The same way where you cannot go into the store without the mask. Mm-hmm. It's real. They don't let you in the store without the mask. Mm-hmm. They got the signs posted there. Remember how they had the guards and they had the little people that was ushering you in line. They're priming you mentally for this thing. And I believe we're gonna see it. So it's gonna come a point, according to scriptures, that you ain't gonna be able to buy or sell without this mark. The mark is the RFID. It's an electronic. Everything is gonna go digital. They're going to get to that point. It's gonna happen. So we should make some form of preparation. We should make some form of preparation individually, even as the body. That's why we talked about, the land and stuff like that. That's the big thing right there. But if we don't make it, meaning we don't accumulate that kind of money to get that, then we better have a hell of a storehouse. Because it ain't gonna be in those stores. All them trucks got to do is stop, and every grocery store in every city has less than 1 day before it's empty. Anything feasible and usable, nothing but swine on the thing and canned goods. that meat be replenished like every day, man. People be having trucks coming every day shipping, but if they shut that down, they shut interstate trucking down. That's the end of the food source until when they see, and that's real bad. That's a curse. The Bible says you're gonna rely on this dude for the one of all things. Israel, we better get our shit together. I'm sorry for the language, but we better get our stuff together. You know, I talked about the lot and getting the sheep so that we can breed them ourselves. We better think, man. We better think. We better stop gambling with time. Because time is upon us. We better get seeds, we better get water, and we need to get those sheep and goat. If nothing else, we still got it. But I'd rather have than not have. Because we're facing some times that I've been looking for a long time. And I'm far from paranoid. So I said before, like in the text or in the message, that these people been wanting to purge. That's why they made those movies. When they made those movies, I was offended, man. I was like, they got the audacity to straight put it into our faces. And we enjoy seeing it. They play the actors of the roles, but remember, they always put themselves in their role. 10 Commandments, Charles Houston, the first one, played Moses. The Egyptians, that wasn't them. You understand? That was us. So what do you think the purge is? That's us. They want to destroy us. But we had classes before pertaining to this. What class is about purging? Remember Purim?
Mm-hmm.
They try to purge us then, during Purim. It turned on them. So when we get into this chapter, I don't know if we're going to finish it, but it's all about the Most High protecting us. But this is about their plans and things like that. So these prophecies is straight telling us it's real. I want us to consider and not just sit back and wait to see what's going to happen, and then be like, "Yo, Sham, which way do we go?" When I tell us that we need to do certain things, then we need to investigate and do certain things, and I'll need your help at doing it. You have to be resourceful. You can't just. You got to bring something to the table. You can't just sit back and not do anything, especially a man. You have to be resourceful. So we'll get into that later. Let's get some of this out the way. So then it says, cause them to hear, my people to hear the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And that's why you have things wrote down. Fear not the imaginations against thee. So first, we're not to be afraid. All right? They imagining things against us. They want to kill us, destroy us. They showing guns and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that. You know, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Incredulity, they don't have the spirit to believe. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. So who has plagued this world? The Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, has plagued this world. The Most High, in the name of Christ, has plagued this world. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. So you will see these things. You will see killings. You will see killings. You will see famine. Famine is no food.
if our foreparents saw it, what would make you think we cannot run into a situation to where we don't have food? So y'all know the bumps that y'all sitting on? Instead of them trying to be all fashionable, then you better start trying to listen to what I'm trying to tell you and grab some victuals, grab some food, and try and store some stuff in case. And I know a lot of you don't like canned goods, but canned goods last a lot longer than what? Something, well, I want to say something frozen, but what happens if the grid ever goes down and you got no electric? What's going to happen to the freezer? It's going to what? Stink. It's going to spoil. But what's going to happen to them goods in the can? It's going to still be, that's going to be preserved. Anybody in here know how to can and preserve certain stuff? No? That's something that we should learn how to do. Can and preserve certain stuff. Nobody know how to can. Sisters? No canners? And yes, in a jar. Okay. So how do we keep that? So I guess are there any actual cans, or does it have to be in a jar? Well, it's okay. Got to be in a jar. Because I was just wondering how to make it kind of like indestructible or a little tougher than a glass jar. No way. Man, we gotta. And I know a place that sells those jars in volume, meaning like by the case, and I think it's a lot cheaper than what they sell at Walmart and stuff like that. But we need to start considering that. Getting stuff, canning in it, jarring it or whatever, trying to preserve it. Know something else that'll be good? A smoker. We can smoke and you can dehydrate food, make it last, jerky it up for your protein, and that'll see how long that stuff lasts. You can have a pile, have a storehouse of that type of stuff. Because if you run into a famine, you're gonna need a lot of different foods, a lot of different ways, instead of not having it all. And the last thing you want to do is be by yourself. That's why y'all here, because y'all don't want to be by yourself. We need each other. So don't get yourself into no trouble where the Most High take you away. The Most High brought you to the body for a reason. When you read Acts, it tells you the church was added to so they could be saved. Now, then it says death, so people were going to die. And destruction. All of this you're going to see around you. You could see around you. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither would I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. All right. So what is that going into? It's going into those that had died and those that are alive, always complaining unto the Most High. So the Most High is like, I'm tired of these wicked and evil demons. And be therefore, said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them.
Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Remember, when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28:68, we're back into Egypt. The Most High say there's going to come a point in time where He's going to take us away from this Egypt. This is what it's referring to. I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So that shows you that this is the second Egypt and not the first one, because he's comparing it to how he destroyed the first Egypt. He said, and will destroy all the land thereof. Did he destroy all the land of the first Egypt? No. He's talking about this one. This is where the lake of fire gonna be. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful consolation. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. So Israel, we gotta be right, man. Woe to the world, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. We don't have swords now, we got guns. For there shall be sedition among men. What is sedition? Sedition is like betraying and turning against and invading one another. What is invading one another? People coming into your space. That's why you have to be able to defend and protect yourself. How many people in here strapped before you show your hands? Let's see. My camera. All right. How many people in here now strapped? Let me see. Raise it out so I can see. All right. Not enough.
Yeah, some people. He's saying right now.
Right now.
All right. So the reason why I asked, because what happened if it jumped off right now and you got invaded? You get bum rushed? What if you had to run? Every man to flee and run himself, run his own way. Somebody says, what you gonna do, a shoot? So, those of you without, I understand. Some of you don't, I understand. Some of you do. Hey, at the end of the day, don't let that trouble you. The Most High is with us. So, just asking. Now, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So in verse 16, don't let this shake you, or don't let this confuse you when it talks about kings nor princes. This is referring to us being special. Remember, the scriptures always called us kings and princes. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Now, lockdown, right? Okay, not able to go. It's happened before. You've experienced it, what it looks like.
not being able to go and travel into a city. It shut off travel for us. One way to stop you from wanting to travel is to tell you that the place is infested with the pestilence. Oh, they got this shut down. Don't go. It shut us down. I even bought vacation for us before this in 2000. What's this? 2020 and 19. Yeah, paid for us to go someplace. And we ain't been able to go because of this COVID stuff. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. The pride is our pride. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, the lack of food, and for great tribulation. People are going to be saying, well, why is this and why is that? In their mind, they'll feel justified in what they're doing in their mind because it ain't no food, ain't no milk, ain't no eggs, ain't no butter, ain't nothing to drink. Just think what's going to happen with those things. They don't sleep. When you sleep and you comfortable in your bed, do you not know people are walking the streets, looking in your cars, walking past your house?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
When you sleep.
Checking door.
Yeah. So just imagine the great tribulation. They ain't never sleeping. Behold, said to God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, rising of the sun, and from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done unto them. Meaning unto who? Unto Israel. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen. So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. So remember, this is going into, what's that? Down in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Joel, the 3rd chapter.
Mm-hmm.
See how y'all, everybody familiar with Joel, the 3rd chapter. The Lord said he's going to bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. He's going to call all these nations and they're going to fight. So they're showing you this talking about the end. Now, it says, so will I do also and recompense in their bosom. Shoot them right in the stomach, man. They're going to be blasting each other. Thus says the Lord. Verse 22, so 2nd Ezra 15:22, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. So it's going with Amos, the 9th chapter. The sinners of his people and all the nations that shed blood, they ain't going to get spared. The fire is gone forth from his wrath and have consumed the foundation of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, said the Lord. Why? Because they're going to fall prey too. That's why I urge you and plead with you and beg you, keep the Most High's commandments. Do not play games. Do not play around. Do not be walking in your pride, or you will drop dead. The Most High will take vengeance upon you, and your life going to be snuffed out of this earth, and you're not going to get another chance to make it right. If you will fear the Most High, keep those commandments, laws, and those statutes. I will not spare them. Do we not see that? I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. What power? The Lord's power.
Most High said his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise. He said, go from that power. Don't try and buck up with the Most High. No, don't even try it. Defile not my what?
Sanctuary.
You know what that's saying? Don't be wicked up in here. Don't play no games. Get yourself right. That's why every situation, man, we must judge and bring out the scriptures. Don't play, or it'll be over for you. Your chance, you will blow it. You do not want to blow your chance in life. You only get one. You only get one chance. Don't mess that up. Now, where I stopped at.
Verse 26.
Verse 26, for the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him. Wow. So if you try to sin in secrecy, like nobody knows, nobody sees, okay, they don't know about me, that's all. The Lord knoweth them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. So if we in sin, we love death, we gonna get killed. Now, for now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Lord shall not deliver you because you have sinned against him. So what's going to happen? What is it saying? The virus is here to stay. It's here to stay. While people think they're going to be able to hit, people are still getting sick. It ain't going to go away until the Most High take it away. It ain't going to go away because somebody give you a shot. When have you known these people that ever cure anybody of anything? They don't give cures, man. They put out band-aids. They're not in the business of curing people. They'll be run out of business. They deal with population control, man. They don't want to cure anybody. They want to suppress it and addict you into that medicine. The young girl says she got addicted because of painkillers when she was young. I hope the Most High help that sister. For real. Now, verse 28. So 2 Ezra 15:28. Behold, a terrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmenians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Syrians. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to pursue them. Sounds like Esau against Arabs. Arabs against Edomites. All right. Because remember, the Valley of Jehoshaphat is Iraq. So that's where the fight is going to begin. Them Iraqis, they hate Edom. They hate them. So the Most High going to give them enough boldness to go ahead and just say, forget it. Anybody ever just said, forget it, and punched the bully right in the face?
Yeah.
You ever had that much guts? You just said, forget it, and the bully is like a giant, man, and you just like, I'm tired of this. Bam! You don't know the feeling, man. I did. Anybody for real? I mean the bully. I did twice. Whoop both times. Both times. I mean the bully, man. These some big dudes. Some big dudes. Pow! Right in the kisser. Right in the kisser, man. It just got fed up and tired. Put my foot up against the curb so I couldn't get knocked down. Right. So yeah, man, they gonna get Esau. Now, verse 32. Then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. I was going into Edom fleeing and falling. So, because they think they win. Do we not know that the military, now I'm not saying that they don't have certain, they got some specialty guys, you know, but I believe that majority is made up of old men that they keep around to teach a lot of children or a lot of youngsters, and a lot of youngsters are mentally controlled by them, and then they got some skilled people in a bunch of tactical teams. You see, so they got hundreds of thousands of young men and young women that they brainwash to go out there with arms. That's what they are, a bunch of young children. Now, they in shape and they know how to do certain things. And they a lot more fit than us sugar diabetes babies. You know what I'm saying? Addicted to sugars and all that stuff. They a little bit more, they're more in shape than you, and they know how to bust a cap in your butt. But the Most High gonna put fear in them and they're gonna fall. They ain't gonna stand. So I don't fear them like what you, like the average person fear them, because you gotta believe in the scriptures. All right. The scriptures tell you that they're gonna fall. Where was that at? We just read it. 32. It says, these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. Where is that they fall? We always read Isaiah 50, Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 49, it's in both chapters, the judgment against Edom. We just want to get a couple parts. Jeremiah chapter 49. And 15, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Thy terribleness have deceived thee. See, they put a bunch of people in fear because they make people afraid and they terrible. It says, and the pride of thy heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from this, said the Lord. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. All right. So the Most High say is going to destroy him. Now, find me the other one that talks about how the young men are going to fall. I just want those different reports because I want to get back and go finish that. We always read this, Rocky. Why do we always read this? Where is this?
I think it's Isaiah 56. 54.
You go check. I'm gonna stay right here. Jeremiah 50. And 9, it says, for lo, I will raise him. Okay, that's right. So I'm gonna get verses 9 first. So Jeremiah chapter 50 and 9, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert,
none shall return in vain. Now, this is it right here. This is the one I want. So I'm gonna go over to verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her, for she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all men of war shall be cut off in that day, said the Lord. Exactly. So now when you go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 16, okay, and what did you say, Isaiah somewhat?
Oh, that was talking about the waster. That's Isaiah 54.
Oh, the waste. Okay. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra. So was it preference to this?
Yeah, it was talking about that waster. You know what I'm saying? Talking about they're not really, but
Yeah, I was one of the young men, so that was it in Jeremiah 50 and 30 about the young men, because it's specifically saying how they gonna fall. So don't be shook about their numbers and that. The Most High gonna turn it, because they got some young minds, so the Most High gonna turn their minds to water, and they're gonna be like cowards, man. So 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and where do we stop it over here? Verse 33. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread, and strife among what? Their kings. Right. So that's mad confusion. Why? Because they're gonna be losing. They ain't been bossed around yet. Behold the clouds from the east and from the north and from the south, and they are very terrible or horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star. And blood shall be from the sword unto the belly. So those important people, they're gonna fall upon each other. Mutiny on the inside. They're gonna be destroying and killing each other. And dung of men unto the camel's hoof. Right. They're gonna be pooping on themselves. There shall be a great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they shall see the wrath. And they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Yeah, because they're gonna be in war. Yeah. They're gonna be in a major war. Huh? Yeah, they're gonna be afraid of war. It's gonna be so violent and so much death. The Most High gonna be showing off, man. Bombs, guns, man. You know the weaponry that's out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Limbs falling everywhere.
Tanks and stuff like that. They're making new tanks already. So.
Yeah, they making new tanks. Dang, man. Terror guns, all kind of stuff, man. Every type of weaponry they're gonna have to bring out. Yeah. Let's see. Where did I stop at? Verse 38. And then shall there come great storms from the south, north, and the other part of the west, and strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open up, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred to cause fear towards the east and the west wind to be destroyed. So even the ones that the Most High raised up to fight against them, they're going to end up being destroyed. The great and mighty clouds shall be lifted up, full of wrath, and the star,
and they that may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible storm, fire and hail and flying swords. Those are your planes, right there. A flying sword. So he had to describe it the best that he can see, best that he can, right? And many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers and the abundance of great waters. There's going to be war in the sea, war on land, war everywhere. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of wood. So even in the forest, there's going to be out there. And grass of the meadows and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. And they shall come to her and besiege her. And the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust of the and smoke go up into heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. Everyone in the states, their cities are going to be all jacked up. They're going to be very, very sad, man. And they that remain under her, that her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. How are they going to do service? Yeah, captive. They're going to start going down. And thou, Asia, art thou partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee. So there's all these nations that be taking place with her, this, that, and the third. Thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Now, who's in Asia? Moab and Ammon. At one point of time, Moab and Ammon, they was different. They hated Esau. Esau went to war with them. When was Pearl Harbor bombed? I'm gonna say the wrong date.
1940s.
In the 40s, right? So they was at odds. Then they dropped a nice little present to them, and they rocked the states with that thing. And so after that, then America got some act right, and then they joined league and they became friends. But even then, did they not fully integrate? They just became allies.
Mm-hmm.
And Asia was separated and different, and then they began the foreign exchange information through studentry and teaching and things like that, because Asia had the technology. So I believe they were one of the ones that taught America technology, because we were behind here and dumb as a box of rocks. That's the reason why all the for real fancy computers,
That's all come from Asia and China.
it all come from China and Japan. The computers, the cars, the engines and stuff like that, your cell phones and things like that, right? Because they got the technology and they taught America this stuff. So, and the women used to be different. The women wasn't wearing blue jeans. Yeah, it wasn't wearing blue jeans and what you seeing them now. They all had their head covered, long silk attire on, and even face covering, veils and stuff like that. But they wanted to be like the American woman, which is a whore. Do we not know that that's where Israel get the whoredom from? Who taught us? So the same way, check this out. Who taught us to strip on poles? To open your legs up and show somebody your crack and your butthole? Who taught you to show your breasts, your nakedness? Who taught you pornography and great wickedness? Multiple men in you. Who taught? The white woman taught you. The red woman taught you that. The same way that when we came out of Egypt, Israel had a bunch of lewd and crazy, wicked ways. Ham is disgusting. They disgusting. Bestiality. They was doing that. Orgies. They was doing that. Incest. They was doing that. That's why those laws in Leviticus 18 are set there. Adultery. They was doing that. So the very same things that we talking about now don't do. Who taught you? Who showed you that imagery? Every generation has got worse and worse and worse because of what you see on mass media, on the vision that tells a bunch of lies called TV. Direct TV, Charter Cable, AT&T, Internet Cable, the World Wide Web. Who runs all of those imagery, those images that are supplanting these things into your head? That's right. So you get your teachings and your learnings from these people. So you got to get taught against that. So what happened? Asia learned, and they just turned away from their customs. And the Most High saw that. So where you think that, oh, it's okay to just do whatever you want to do, who are you? The Most High created these people. He the ones that saying, no, don't be like that. No, don't do that. It's rope right here. And he said, for that, I'm giving you. Thou hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they may please the glory of thy lovers. So why did they fall away and do it? To be Americanized. Same way with the Arabs. Did the same thing. Y'all ain't seen the world that I seen. I seen Arabs when they came over here covered from head to toe. You ain't see nothing but some brown eyes or black eyes. Now they look just like the American whore. And I ain't talking about your Israelite women, I'm talking about the red ones. Everybody is just the same now, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. They always wanted you to do it. Verse 48, thou hast followed her that is hated, and in all her works and inventions. Therefore said God, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. The Most High is jacking them up. You don't know what's going on over there. They show you what they want to show you. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. When the heat shall arise, that is, sent over thee, thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, meaning they got beat, and as one is chastised with wounds. So that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. Would I, with jealousy, have so proceeded against thee, said the Lord? If thou hadst not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead, when thou was drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. The Most High is saying, who did this to us? Moab. So we think that they're innocent? They're not innocent. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense, like as thou hast done unto my chosen, said the Lord. Even so shall God do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword, in the field. They that be in the mountain shall die of hunger, and shall eat their own flesh and drink their own blood. For very hunger of bread and thirst of water. Thou as unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again. And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire, and shall consume thee and thy cities, thy land and thy mountains, all thy woods and fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. Thy children shall they carry away captive, and look what thou hast. They shall spoil it and mar the beauty of thy face. So as you go on, we're going to stop there, but as you go on into the 6th chapter, it's going to tell you about Edom, Asia, Egypt, Syria, because they're all in partakers against Israel together. So the Most High is just showing what's going to happen to them during these times. All right. So, any questions? No questions. All right.
I'm gonna read chapter 16.
Yeah. It just continues to flow into it.
Okay.
What's the time on here? Right. What's the time on here?
3:22.
Okay. So Matthew 26. All right. Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now, when Yahushua was in Bethany, whom the world calls Jesus, in the house of Simon the leper, there came up to him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, "To what purpose is this waste? But his ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor." When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, "Why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought the good work upon me. For ye are the poor always with you, but me you have not always.
When death shall pour this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So all praises to the Most High for giving this sister the Spirit to come forth and give Christ some comfort for his burial and give a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart. All praises to the Most High. The communion, 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Mashiach Yahushua. So what I'm saying is Hamashiach meaning Messiah, Yahushua, that's Christ's name in the Hebrew. The same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when they had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. So is this the refrigerated box? Yes. Rocky, what brand was that you had out there? I know it's the box wine, but what kind was it?
I think it's that kind of stuff. It wasn't the regular. It was Moscato. Yeah.
Moscato? Yeah, we gotta get that one. This one here is rough. So after the same manner, he took the cup when it supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause, meaning weak and sickly among you, and meaning sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. That's it? Ready? On sign the name of Christ. Thank you for the food and drink, amen.
Amen.
This is body was broken for you.
This is blood. All right, so let's go. All right, Israel, we are going to stand and face Jerusalem. This is the part where we send up prayers, all right?
Hey, Rob.
Israelites.
Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. In the Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10 and 2. Therefore I said unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, Most High, King of heaven and earth, and all things, Most High. In the name of the Christ, send more disciples and teachers to your harvest to gather your people Israel and send counsel behind your laws to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lies with thy word. In the Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel. Numbers chapter 6 and 24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. In the Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Children of Israel, bless one another.
Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you all.
That's a foot.
Over to the left.
I'm saying, Mom.
Yeah, that way.
All right, Israelites, shalom. Christ bless. Y'all have a good night. Anybody need me? Inbox me, all right? Peace. Inbox me, Israelites. Anybody need me? Shalom. I'm always here for you. Much love. Peace.